You ever get woken up by something so loud, so wrong, it just rips you out of a dream and dumps you in a nightmare? That was me half dreaming about nothing special when the whole house shook with three hard, angry knocks, bang, 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 loud enough to rattle the pictures right off the walls. I shot upright in bed, heart pounding, sweat on my neck, and then came that voice from the other side of the door, deep and official, "Police open up." Right then I knew something in my life had tipped over, I just didn't know which way. So picture this. I'm scrambling into my jeans, fumbling with the zipper mind racing in about 20 directions, all of them bad. What the hell are the cops doing here at midnight? I creep down the stairs, each step creaking like it wants to give me away, trying to convince myself it's just some dumb mix-up, some neighbor's kid vandalizing mailboxes or whatever. But then I peek through the glass, and there they are. Two men in uniform badges, shining guns heavy on their hips. The tall one says, "Joshua Roberts, you're under arrest." I freeze because that's my name, but the only thing I've ever stolen is office pens. Arrested for what? My voice cracks. His partner's hand drifts to his gun like he's bored with my questions. Something about them is all wrong. The uniforms are crisp, but the badges are way too new, almost fake-looking. And my gut's screaming at me to run, to do something, but all I can do is stand there with my pulse banging in my ears. And just as I'm thinking, well, maybe they'll just go away if I play dead, Sandra appears. Sandra, my wife. You know, the type lives in old sweatshirts, gets teary-eyed at baking shows, doesn't like confrontation unless you try to change her TV channel. But this Sandra, she's cool, focused, steps right in front of me and faces those men down. "Step back from my husband," she says, voice flat, eyes hard, nothing like the woman I thought I married. The tall one smirks, reaches for me, and before I can blink, Sandra grabs his wrist, twists, slams him into the wall badge, clattering to the floor. The short one goes for his gun, but Sandra's elbow catches his jaw and he just folds. The silence after is thick, almost unreal. I'm standing there, mouth open, while Sandra, my pajama-clad wife, fishes a battered leather wallet out of her robe. Flips it open, badge shining gold. U.S. Marshal. My knees almost buckle. All I can do is whisper, "What the hell is going on?" Sandra doesn't even look at me. She yanks the fake badges from the unconscious guys, muttering, "They're imposters." Suddenly, I realize I'm married to a stranger. The woman who's been making casseroles in my kitchen is out here neutralizing fake cops like it's just a Tuesday. And if you'd asked me a week ago what could possibly bring all this to my door, I'd have laughed. I mean, my life was boring, the kind of boring you pay extra for in the suburbs. But maybe boring is just what you call it before the walls fall in. And they started falling all because of that deck out back. Our 12th anniversary was coming up, and I wanted to surprise Sandra, build her something permanent, something we could both enjoy. So I hired Michael Carter, the best contractor in Maple Ridge, guy, coached Little League 5-star reviews, the whole 9 yards. For 3 weeks, he turned our yard into something out of a magazine, all gleaming cedar planks, $8 grand of perfection. The night Sandra first saw it, she just stood there barefoot, wonder on her face. And for a second, all the exhaustion and worry in her melted away. Best money I ever spent, or so I thought. That weekend, the neighbors came around. Patricia from next door with her potato salad. Even the Johnsons showed up, and that never happens. Everybody admired the deck except Sandra, who was glued to her phone, distracted. I figured it was work. She handles Social Security claims, always someone needing something. Still, it bugged me. Monday morning, I get the notice. HOA violation, deck is 6 inches too high, $200 a day fine effective immediately. I'm reading this thing 3 times, shaking my head no way. Michael measured everything, had the blueprints, even got Teresa Edwards, the HOA president, to sign off. Michael tells me, "Don't worry, Josh. I built it to code. I'll bring the permits, the measurements, all of it." But Sandra, she barely looks up from her laptop. "Just tear it down and rebuild. Not worth fighting Teresa over 6 inches. Cold. Like we're picking pizza toppings, not tossing 8 grand into a dumpster." That's when Patricia leans over my fence and tells me 3 families. Same contractor, same fines, same end they left town. Michael's a good guy, I tell her. She just pats my arm and walks away. That night, Sandra's buried in paperwork that doesn't look like her usual stuff, maps, photos, handwritten notes, and she shuts me down when I ask about Patricia. She sees conspiracies everywhere. Funny thing is, last time Patricia accused the mail carrier of stealing, she was right. The next few nights, Sandra's up late, sometimes gone car clocking miles it shouldn't receipts for hotels, and this really knocked me sideways. Surveillance equipment. The woman who's been clipping coupons is buying spy gear. And for the first time, I wondered if I really knew who I was sleeping next to. I tried to handle things the neighborly way. I go to Teresa violation notice in hand. Her house is too perfect, like a showroom. She pours coffee, tells me about her husband's tragic accident, how she'll never let safety standards slide again. But her house is full of expensive stuff, coffee that costs more than my monthly electric bill. All while insisting 6 inches matter, Josh. Too much sincerity, too much money for a grieving widow on a fixed income. Michael shows me files. Every family forced out was fined for some little thing. Always on a corner lot. Always ended up sold to the same company, Ridgeway Holdings. My blood runs cold. Patricia was right. This isn't about 6 inches, it's about squeezing people out. And Sandra? She just tells me, tear it down. No fight left in her, not over this. That's when I know she's hiding something big. Then one night I try to follow her. She meets a guy at the Maple Inn, hands over an envelope. I go home sick with suspicion. The next day I confront her. She won't answer, just says, "You don't know what you're getting into," and storms out. For the first time in 12 years, I feel handled, not married. Next, Patricia gives me the big warning: Josh, families who fight the HOA don't stay. Their houses always end up with Ridgeway Holdings. Ask Teresa who signs the deeds, and if you value your family, don't fight alone. I walk the neighborhood that night, see the empty lots, the foreclosed homes, and realize I'm next. A couple days later, Michael calls, panicked. I got proof, Josh. Meet me at the old construction site tonight. Alone. So I do, and it's as creepy as you'd think. Michael hands me a folder of documents, fake companies' deeds, Teresa's signature everywhere, and Walker, big shot lawyer downtown, as legal counsel. It's a racket squeeze. Families take the houses, flip them for cash, launder the money. Then from the shadows, 2 men step out, guns drawn, not cops, but not amateurs either. They slap cuffs on me, shove Michael aside. I think this is it. I'm never seeing my wife again. Then headlights. Sandra screeches up, gun drawn, badge out, and just like before, she takes them down in seconds, collecting the evidence while I just stand there cuffed and stunned. We drive home in silence, me clutching a folder full of proof wrist, aching from the cuffs, mind blown to pieces. Finally, I ask, "How long, Sandra? How long have you been a U.S. Marshal?" 7 years, she says, eyes on the road. 7 years. Longer than we've lived in Maple Ridge. Every late night, every excuse, all those secrets, federal business. And then she tells me everything. Walker's running a national racket using HOAs as a weapon to strip families of their homes. Teresa, just a pawn. Michael guilty but caught up in something bigger. Sandra's been undercover all this time, tracing the whole operation. And now, thanks to my anniversary gift, I'm in the crosshairs too. But it isn't over. Michael slips me a USB with all the incriminating files, enough to blow the case wide open. But the threats come in anonymous texts, dark sedans, idling outside messages that say, "We know what she is and we know what you are." I'm terrified and more alone than ever. When Michael tries to set Sandra up, it blows back on him. He cracks, confesses everything in court, and Sandra takes the stand, lays out the entire conspiracy from shell companies to judge bribery. Even Walker, slick as ever, can't wriggle free after the jury hears the recordings. Guilty, the verdict rings out, and for a minute it feels like maybe we've won. But here's the truth. After the trial, after the news vans leave, after Teresa's house sits dark and the feds padlock the HOA office, nothing feels the same. The deck I built nearly destroyed us. Sandra sits across from me, hand on mine, telling me we're safe now. But the neighborhood feels different. A car still circles at night. Sandra keeps her badge and gun on the kitchen table, and Patricia, well, she tells me storms don't just end, Josh. They gather strength and come back meaner. One morning I find an envelope hidden in the deck with a photo of Sandra and a shadowy man. On the back, she still has secrets. She says it's her DOJ contact, but I don't know what to believe anymore. She says, do you trust me enough to let me protect you? Or do you want the truth even if it destroys us? And I honestly don't know. So here I am sitting on the deck that started it all, telling you my story. HOA fines, fake cops, secret badges and all. People think it's over, but I know better. Because until I know what Sentinel means, and until the cars stop circling, and until I can look Sandra in the eye and know everything, I'll never really know if she's protecting me or just protecting herself. Let me ask you, how much would you risk for the truth? What's worth more, being safe or knowing everything, even if it costs you the person you love? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell me if you've ever tangled with an HOA or found secrets under your own roof, and if you think justice is ever really done. Because out here in Maple Ridge, the story's not over, and neither I think is ours.